Hey everybody, let's have a quick conversation about what you can do if you want to homeschool your children, but your spouse isn't quite on the same page. So first of all, I want to encourage you to give value to your spouse's perspective. By the fact that they even have a resistance and have an opinion on the subject lets me know that they really care about your kids and about your family. I mean, sure, you could have some selfish motives in there somewhere, but chances are they're really just concerned about the long term ramifications or maybe just the short term logistics of how homeschool would play out. So, if you haven't already, I encourage you to have a conversation with your spouse where each of you can lay out your concerns about whether or not your children go to a traditional school. I know in some cases you may be looking at starting your child like we did, where they never go to traditional school and they start immediately in homeschool. And then you may also be in the situation where you're looking at pulling your child from school because of whatever issues and concerns you're having right now. So, regardless of which side you're approaching it from, it would be very good for you and your spouse to sit down and just have that honest conversation without any attacks on each other about being open-minded or closed-minded or whatever, and just hear each other out. Maybe your spouse's concerns are really rooted in a fear that in the long term, the child may not be poised academically for college. They may be concerned about whether a high school diploma from homeschool would be considered valid by an employer, whether it would in any way hamper the child later on in life. Those are valid concerns. And even though some of those things are rooted in misconceptions and stereotypes about homeschool, it doesn't mean that the concern is invalid, right? So it would be good to find out, what are your spouse's concerns? If they're concerned about sports and extracurricular activities, it might be good for you to do some digging and ask them, ask your spouse, would it be okay if I go and do some research on this topic and find out what options are available in our area? Or maybe find out statistically, is this really true of homeschoolers? I read a report recently that said homeschoolers are more likely to be involved in extracurricular activities than the public school students. And that actually surprised me. And I've been a homeschool advocate for a long time. But I just thought, I assumed with the public schools extracurricular activities built in, that public school students would be more involved in extracurricular. And it turns out, according to that study, that homeschooled children actually are exposed to more extracurricular activities than public school. So I thought that was a very interesting bit of information. And something like that might actually really go a long way in helping alleviate your spouse's fears and concerns. I know another concern that a lot of parents have, really, it's just founded in nostalgia. A lot of us want to give our kids the happy experiences that we had when we were children. And if your spouse had a really great experience, if they loved prom and homecoming or being on the football team or being on the debate team, I'm just pulling things out of the air, whatever the case may be, or maybe they had a really strong friend circle at school. Maybe they're wanting your child to have that experience as well. And it might be helpful if they have ears to hear, to point out to them that just because that was their experience doesn't necessarily guarantee that your child will have the same positive experience. The sad truth right now is that what we had growing up in school, to a large extent, is not even available anymore. If I wanted to go give my children the same school experience I had, I couldn't. Schools have changed so much. The education system, the social climate, everything is so different, even then when we were in school, which wasn't that long ago. But it may be helpful just to acknowledge how they're feeling. Nostalgia is a strong emotion, but then also just honestly talk through that together and talk through, what experiences could we give them by not giving them this one? What other opportunities could they have that we never had because we were in school, 8 to 3, Monday through Friday? So those are just some talking points to maybe get you rolling on the same page and get the conversation started. And I hope that helps you out. Until next time, though, follow me at Amy Harrell Smith and visit my website at wiserhomeschool.com, where you can get a free ebook to help you in building confidence as you start your homeschool. I'll see you soon.